Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is Delilah Bartlett. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am changing the view here so I can also see the comments. We are live on multiple platforms. Hopefully, everybody can follow along and see well. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Um, I went out this morning with a brief announcement with an announcement letting everybody know that I will be going live talking about leaders being learners. It was actually following a message I shared yesterday to mark your calendars for February 22, where I will be doing a Women in Leadership workshop. And so that really propelled me to come out and compelled and propelled, put me in motion, got my mind together, compelled, propelled, put me in motion to come and share this message on leaders being learners. And so as we're going along, feel free to, let's see. Okay, I got that. It was saying something about the comments. As we're going along, feel free to ask questions, leave messages and comments. I will have time at the end for open Q&A, but I'm hoping you can just, drop your question in as they come in. I'll address them. I'm doing a couple checks just to make sure that I can see all the comments that are coming across, or checking the different, yep, I'm live there. So, yep, I should be able to see everybody's comments. So again, welcome. Leaders are learners. And so the objective, the return on investment that you'll get for investing your time here with me tonight, purpose of this message is to better equip leaders for their next season. You can be in career as you're developing your career. You could be an entrepreneur creating your business. Even a writer writing your book. This message and my purpose is molded and crafted for leaders. And I believe that is you. And so what you'll receive as a return on your investment here is some helpful tips on how to strengthen, grow your leadership portfolio, skill set. You have it. Um, and have you and continue to grow and promote and impact those around you. And so we're talking about leaders being learners. And so we'll spend this time. I'll share some content. Again, feel free to leave comments as we're moving along. And I'll also have an open Q&A at the end. So leaders are learners. It's really the key message here is that leadership requires knowledge, and knowledge is really a perpetual will. And so when I say perpetual will, what I mean is you will continue to, great leaders, great effective leaders will continue to take in knowledge and information, and they will continue to share knowledge and information. Great leaders continue to have a perpetual will of knowledge. And so there are 2 points that I want to share regarding great leaders having perpetual will of knowledge. One, leaders are always teachers, and leaders are always students. And so when we look at look at you as a leader, as a student, one of the things I want to dispel is that I don't have anything to teach. So a lot of us would be thinking, oh, well, not me. I don't have anything to teach, and surely it's somebody else's responsibility to teach. What I want to share with you is 2 things about that. One, if you think about it, and someone shared this with me in some course that I took, I think like in 2018, to teach first graders. Fifth graders have the ability to teach third graders, seventh graders, fifth graders, right? So the point is, although you may not be the master, you may not have a master's degree or a doctorate degree in the subject, you have enough to be able to teach the next person. You have enough to be able to teach someone. So don't count yourself out. Leaders have capability and capacity and knowledge and information to teach someone. So somewhere in your environment, someone is dependent on the knowledge and information that you have to share. So that's point 1 about leaders being teachers. You have something to teach. This is not counting you out. This message is for you. The second thing about leaders being teachers, and sometimes that come against the mindsets of different leaders, is that I don't want to be seen. Like, it's this thing about stepping into the light, that could be concerning or even fearful for some. But what I want you to think about, and one of my favorite books gives this analogy, if you will, of how, what sense does it make to take a light, something that gives a source of light, and then put a bushel over it so it doesn't shine anymore. There is a light inside of you. There is knowledge inside of you. There's information inside of you that needs to shine, that needs to be shared. And so it doesn't make sense. And I know, again, this is a struggle for some that would say, oh, it can't be me. I want to shy away. I want to go to the background. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. Um, but there's that light inside of you has been created to shine. You have that knowledge to be able to share with others. Again, two-part message, one on leaders being students, leaders being teachers, and the other on leaders being students. Perpetual will of knowledge is necessary for continuous effective leadership. And that's what we're doing here. We're building leaders. And why are we building leaders? So that we can amplify your impact, your influence, and your income. And specifically around this, around here, we're talking about your influence, your influence part. Influence, whenever you hear me say influence, impact, income, I am talking about influence you have over people and the people around you. I'm talking about impact that you have to bottom line and results in the world. And I'm talking about income, dollars in your pocket. So whenever you hear me say I'm talking about influence, impact, income, I am talking about people, results, money. And so that's what we're doing here. We're talking about people, results, money. And so, two-part message on leaders. First of all, we talked about you being a teacher. You have something to teach. Don't count yourself out. You know enough to teach someone. Secondly, stop trying to hide. We all see you anyway. That light inside of you is really great. Stop trying to put a bushel over the light that has been crafted in you to shine. So, knowledge is also power, and how we handle it is a level of our maturity. You hear that old adage, I can hear that whole old adage of knowledge is power. And where we go wrong, or where some people go wrong, is that they want to hoard the knowledge, right? Because knowledge is power. And for me, it's a misinterpretation of the saying. Knowledge is power, so I have to keep the power. Where if knowledge is power and I have global impact, then surely I want to share the power. Because the more I share the power, the more I multiply the power that I have, then the more powerful I am and the more powerful the world is. So when you hear knowledge is power, it's not simply about, oh, I have to hold on to all the knowledge because that makes me more powerful and profitable, and I'm just power, power, power. It means, oh my gosh, knowledge is power, so I have to share the power, right? It's perspective. If you are in this thing to really change the world, and when I say this thing, I mean life, to really change the world and influence the folks around you, then you know it's not just about you, it's about the folks around you. So the last thing on the point of you being a student is that knowledge is power, but power should be shared. Power should be shared. And so make sure that as you're being a great student, as you're being a great teacher, thank you. As you're being a great teacher, you're not hoarding onto the things. Because let me share this with you. Nothing you can share. There's nobody who can be a better version of you than you. I can tell everybody about everything I'm going to be able to do or doing in 2022. They may be able to execute it, but they will fall short on the vision that was created for me. So don't be afraid to share your knowledge. And again, multiply yourself by sharing your knowledge and sharing your power. So that's the first part of leaders. Leaders being learners is leaders are great teachers. Now let's talk about leaders being great students. And again, I'm going to save some time at the end to open up Q&A, but feel free. I see we have a few people that have joined. Feel free to place your comments in the comments, and I will get to them readily as I see them. Leaders being students. Knowledge is not always traditional. I wrote that down. Knowledge is not always traditional. Sometimes people can fall short in their mind thinking, oh, I don't have the knowledge because I don't have the degree. I don't have the knowledge because I don't have the certificate. Here's what I want to share with you. Those are great ways and avenues to acquire knowledge. Traditional ways to acquire knowledge, awesome. Hats off to all you people who have all the doctorates and multiple masters and certification in like 10 different things. You guys are dope. But here's what I also want to share. There are also some other great sources of knowledge. Experiences, my goodness, great source of knowledge. Coaches, great source of knowledge. So don't count yourself out or limit yourself saying, well, I don't have. Well, do a good catalog and inventory of what you do have, because I'm sure that you are just overflowing immensely with an abundance of information and knowledge that you, one, can use for yourself, and two, then can teach to others. So knowledge is not always traditional. And the second thing about being a good student as a leader, an effective leader, is that this humbled, this humbled thought that you do not know everything. So great leaders are always going to be great students. We're going to perpetually continue to learn new things. We are going to learn new trends, new technology, new language. We're going to continue to be relatable. We're going to go ahead and grow with the curve, not necessarily change as the world is changing, but we will continue to build upon a solid foundation that we already have to continue to be relevant in the world. And so you won't ever know everything. So always be open to learning things. There's someone that may be in a cubicle next to you, or may share space with you, or maybe even live in your home, that has something to share and teach you. Share with you and teach you. I'll let you know, like, I have a 23-year-old in my home, and this guy teaches me stuff all the time. So don't be boxed in, because when you box yourself in thinking you know everything, you limit what you're learning, and it limits you, and it limits those people that you potentially limits those people that you are called to influence, because they're waiting on you. Some of them are waiting on you to learn, because you're a voice of power and authority around them and influence around them, and they may be waiting on you in order to consume and learn this information. So make sure you go after that. Lastly, the more you know, the more you can share. And then we talked about leaders needing to be humble and teachable. So we covered quite a bit in 12 short minutes so far. But at the end of the day, 2 points. Real leaders never stop learning, and real leaders never stop teaching. And so my question to you is, are you a real leader? And so as you think about that question and answering it, am I a real leader by the definition of am I teaching and am I learning? Really stop, pause. Hopefully when you join, you have a pen and piece of paper. And maybe write down 1 or 2 things that you have. Let's look at 2021, since this is a brand new year, 2022. It's a great frame to actually look back a duration of time, to really take an account. In 2021, what did you learn that was different, right? Maybe write down 1 or 3 things, right? I kind of did this exercise already. There are some great things I learned: new technology, new platform, new strategy on how to share information. And then similarly, 1 to 2, 3 things, write down. What did you teach? What did you teach? Intentionally or unintentionally? Just thinking about it, because the purpose here is to get it in your muscle memory that leaders are learners, leaders are learners, leaders are students, and leaders are teachers, leaders are students, and leaders are teachers, leaders are students, and leaders are teachers. And so we talked about, and I'm going to grab my notebook, because I want to make sure I recover everything that we just covered. Summarize. We talked about 2 things: leaders being teachers and leaders being students. With leaders being teachers, we said that everybody has something to teach, no matter what degree or level you are in your profession. You have something that you can teach. Go back, review the whole thing, get the details on that. We shared that stop hiding your light. Like, there's a light inside of you. Nobody lights a light and then puts a bushel over. You light a light, you shining the way you were created to shine. Knowledge is power, not power to be hoarded, but power to be shared. You're looking to multiply yourself in your power, so others can become more powerful as well, for the purpose of elevating communities, families, cities, and the nation and the world. We talked about knowledge being, Oh, we have a comment, and I just highlighted the comment. Look at me. I just learned something. One thing I learned is that as a leader, I can't give from an empty cup. Exhaustion is real for leaders, and we need time to rest and recover. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing, Monique. Um, that was a great comment, and it is real. Like it, and I'm so glad you said that because one of the things that came up when I was thinking about sharing this information was a gas tank in a beautiful vehicle. Imagine your favorite vehicle, whatever it is that you like to drive. I drive a Toyota, and I'm well with a Toyota. Um, but imagine you're driving your favorite vehicle, and you fill it up with gas, and you're driving, but it runs out. But it runs out because why? You didn't take the time to fill it up. And so you could be the most gorgeous vehicle, right? You can be the most brilliantly engineered vehicle. Everything about you can be the dopest thing ever. But if you don't put, or electricity, y'all know what I'm saying, conceptually. If you don't refuel, to Monique's point, if you don't refuel and put more fuel inside, it's going to die out. Your power, your beauty, that brilliance that's driving around in that vehicle, it won't be able to continue to do what it was designed to do. And so it's imperative that as a leader, we can't give from an empty cup. We must continue to, in the overarching thing of this message, continue to gain knowledge. But to Monique's point, also know when to sit down somewhere and and rest and recover. And so, as a student, continuing to learn is important. Being humble and teachable is important, and knowing that the more we know, the more we can share. If I only learned my ABCs through A through L, then M on to Z, I would never be able to teach because I never learned it. And so the more you're learning, the more you're going to be able to share. And this community, this earth, this world that we live in, it was built on community, and so we're here to help one another. So with that, I know I said this is going to be brief, and it is brief, but by today's standard, maybe not so much because some of us struggle a little bit with it. Anyway, but any questions? I know I said if there were any leadership questions, and I'm hoping I can see them all. I thank you, Monique, for posting your question because at least I know Facebook is up and alive. Hopefully, LinkedIn is as well. But are there any questions I can answer before we conclude tonight? I do plan to come and share additional leadership tidbits again for the purpose of amplifying your influence, impact, and income over the next forever, but definitely through the 22nd, where I plan to do a focused workshop with women for women on February 22nd, 22. The content is going to be really rich and good, so you don't want to miss out. And be sure to follow me for instructions on to join the webinar. Really, I just need to set it up, and I haven't set it up yet because I don't feel pressure to do so. So make sure you follow me everywhere that you should be, so you can get that information. It's free. I encourage you to share it with other women, because if you know, like I know, and if you know, like the data has shown over the last like 5 years, like women are, improving bottom lines, are nurturing cultures and making cultures better in businesses and in schools around the world. Women are really shifting and changing things. And so if you know women, which you do or are, please share this with them so that they can join. I just share my address as far as Delilah's Downloads on Facebook and YouTube, or Delilah Bartlett here on LinkedIn, and so that they can follow and get the information. I'm so excited to share it on the 22nd. I was really intentional about sharing it right before Women's History Month because I want to talk to the women who want to make history. Those women, even if there's an inkling inside, like I think that might be me, then that's you. But again, fellas, you are welcome as well. These messages are really for leaders across the globe. I'm called to global leadership. I thank you guys for joining me this evening as we talk about leaders being learners. Remember to always pursue possible. Someone actually asked me, well, shouldn't it be pursue the impossible? No, because my mind and my framework doesn't acknowledge impossible. My mind now acknowledges possible, and all things are possible. And so pursue what is possible. Pursue what is possible. So thank you guys for joining. It has been a pleasure. I'm looking. I don't see any additional comments. If there's something that I've missed somehow in the comment section, and once we end, if when we close and I see your comment or your question, please know that I will come back and respond. Or thank you for joining the replay. And if you have questions during the replay, post them here in this thread, and I will respond. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, you guys have a great, great day, great evening, and I'll talk to you the next time. Take care.